Hello everyone, this is Benjamin Kallenberg from www.consciousazine.com. Now today's video, toothpaste versus magic mushrooms, is just meant to be a bit of a hack at showing you how much of a brainwashed by propaganda monkey you are. I don't particularly like disclosed TV, but on the drive home from a friend's before, I was thinking about making this video because I was just in the shower there and I read the toothpaste and I thought, well, if I have to consult a doctor after I swallow a bit more than a mouthful of toothpaste, of like Colgate and those type of brands with fluoride in them and stuff, well then, I was thinking about how the LD50 of magic mushrooms, is what it is, and how much it takes to be toxified by magic mushrooms, and comparing the two. And so I thought I'll make this video, and then lo and behold, I get back, go onto Facebook, and my other friend, my friend Veronica from Uruguay, has sent me this video on fluoride. So I thought, well, since it's synchronistically occurring, I better indeed make the video. So here we are. Now, I don't particularly like disclosed TV, but this is a reasonable video, so let's watch this and then we'll talk more on it.
Alright, you will know here where the fluorine has just been introduced that there is a distinct stimulation of all the cells as they react to the poison. This we take to be a defense mechanism. Then things begin to slow up and reproduction is definitely inhibited. Here we have another demonstration of the destruction of cells by perfusion of 1 part in 30 million. Notice the swelling of the mitochondria in the body of the cells.
Okay, I can't pause the video, but notice it said 1 part in 30 million. Our water even in Australia has 2 parts per million.
Note the swelling of the membranes around the cells. This makes it impossible for them to absorb foodstuff. Note they're shriveling up now. There are no cells dividing. All is becoming still. Most of the cells are dead or dying. This demonstrates the toxicity of this material. In summary, I wish to make it very clear again that this film, which you have just seen, is a graphic record of what we and Drs. Berry and Trillwood have seen in our cultures when they were perfused with dilute solutions of sodium fluoride. This film itself is presented here only to show that mammalian cells in tissue cultures can be and are damaged by fluorides, and some even killed when their contact with sodium fluoride is in the concentration of 1 part in 30 million. And we do have photographic records showing almost the same thing in 1 part in 60 million. Poisonous sodium fluoride in these concentrations may not be toxic enough to kill the cells or to destroy an organ or possibly the individual himself. Nevertheless, in human bodies, such poisons are subtle, insidious, and if prolonged over months and years, as in this case where fluoridated water is being used, chronic disorders and upsets of function in one or more of the vital organs may ensue. Outward manifestations of such toxic effects may not be apparent at the time to the victim or to his physician. but the constant drinking of fluoridated water may bring about a gradual accumulation of damaged and scarred tissue in the various organs, resulting in the production of many vague complaints in some or in nearly all parts of the body. This makes it most difficult for the physician to diagnose unless one is very alert to the effects of fluoridated water and its consumption. To sum up all this, then, one is forced to conclude that the safety of fluoridation has not yet been proved. The experiments that you have just seen cast most serious doubt on the safety of fluoridation. We feel compelled to agree with the Congressional Committee on Food and Drugs and Chemicals, who, after extensive investigations under the Honorable James J. Delaney of New York, way back some years ago, 1952, questioned the safety of fluoridation and urged caution. And above all, they emphasized the need for more research, even before anyone would consider fluoridation. To all this, we most heartily do agree. The proponents of fluoridation have not produced this research. The safety of fluoridation still needs to be proved. And we who have made this film from over 24,000 photographs in continuity under the microscope at intervals of exactly 39 seconds between each film bring you this demonstration of toxic effects of fluoridation. We have only begun our research into the effects of drinking fluoridated water. We ask for your support.
Okay, very interesting. Number one, note the concentration that he spoke of was 1 in 30 million. So 1 particle of fluoride in 30 million particles. Now, and he said 1 in 60 as well had just about the same effect. Now, in Australia, I know we have 1 part per million or 2 part per million in some of our water supplies, and I heard recently that in North New South Wales here that they actually took it out. So good stuff. I hope that's true. Anyway, I hear that in some parts of the US it's as high as 16 parts per million. Now that's 16 parts per million when this guy on the video was just showing you 1 part per 30 million. So just think about that for a second. Obviously the title of my video is to show you the extremes, you know, something you have every day in your water, in Mount Franklin, McDonald's ice, stuff like that, and definitely in the main society water supply. Now, let's head to the magic mushrooms. Now, why have I, sided it up against the magic mushroom? Well, because there's so much stigma around it and it's so taboo. And obviously it's so taboo only really because people don't know about it, and there isn't much research into say what we're covering today, the psilocybin cubensis, gold top magic mushroom, the coprophyceous dung loving mushroom, the one that grows out of Bos indicus cattle dung. So let's just have a look here. The LD50 of psilocybin shows us that it is very, very safe to take. You would need 1 pound to kill you. Now, the average dose is, 5 grams dried or something. That was the McKennian dose, I say you need it fresh, and I don't want people to have it dried, but I know why McKenna advocated that. It's so you could measure it. However, when looking at the LD50 and how much it would take to even get near to kill you, like 1 pound, you can see that you could easily take more without it really hurting you or toxicating you. So in contrast to MDMA's LD50, which is only 125 milligram, and that's from Terence's lecture, The Tree of Knowledge. But, MDMA, again, something taken very often as compared to, say, the psilocybin magic mushroom. So that's why I've named this video that, to take you to the extreme end of the taboo, where, most people say the psilocybin mushroom, ooh, boogie woogie, and they're scared of magic mushrooms. It's because there's no knowledge and no lore accumulated over it, obviously. But once you research it, and don't just go off propagandistic brainwash, you start to realize that you've been had and you're a sap. So let's go further into that then. I've got some more on that down here. Dosage. As I said here, yeah, I recommend around 50 gram to 200 gram fresh of this psilocybe, and that equals, you know, about 100 gram, 8 to 10-ish dried grams. Say, apparently it's, you know, 100 gram fresh is about 8 to 10 dried grams, something like that. So you can see the dose that I'm saying to people is about 5 to 20 grams dried, but I'm saying take it fresh. So anyway, let's keep going. You know, all substances are potentially toxic, even if you drink, say, 7 liters of water. Here we go. Yeah, 21 grams, looks like this picture below. That's 21 grams of magic mushroom, so you could eat all that pretty much no problem. You just have a great time in search of the stone. Anyway, let me go back up to the blue writing. Here we are. So LD50, look into it, but essentially it means lethal dose 50, where, you know, 1/2 of the testing group will die. So we read out the LD50 of MDMA up there, which is only 125 milligram. That's when they tested on mice and stuff. So just have a look at this. This is on this page. So anyway, all substances are potentially toxic. You can kill yourself with water if you drink too much of it. Psilocybin's effective dose is 0.5 milligrams per kilogram. A fatal dose of psilocybin is about 150 milligrams per kilogram, and psilocybin is the main compound in the gold top magic mushroom cubensis, Stropharia cubensis. So you can see there the big difference of a fatal dose versus a effective dose. Now, that's why I said up there, you know, you can take about a pound before you get near this 150 milligrams and a fatal dose. A pound of the actual mushrooms will contain maybe somewhere around this figure in milligrams of the effective thing, psilocybin, one of the 4 effective compounds in the gold top Stropharia cubensis. Yeah, so I said here, therefore psilocybin cubensis at 5 grams dried high post-threshold dose is safer than your chocolate bar. And it's safer than your toothpaste too, because I was reading on the back of the toothpaste, you know, if you have more than it says on there something about if you have more than as much as you use to brush your teeth. So say you swallow more than, you know, about an inch of the stuff, you're meant to seek medical advice. That's what it says on the back of the packet of, you know, Colgate and all the other known brands like that containing fluoride and all that, because they do indeed contain toxic substances like peroxide and fluoride. Now, this mushroom is far less toxic than what you brush your teeth with. That's the point of this video.